Hey, Sportdev series, New Year 2023. M Salad in the house. What's going on, my brother?
Well, I'm good, man. Cannot complain. What?
I've been trying to catch you, man. You've been all over the world.
Yeah,
You
no, I
know,
was in, I was in, I was in Qatar for the most part. Just
yeah,
trying to, I'm trying to say cover the World Cup. Alhamdulillah, it was an incredible experience.
yeah. It
But,
was. It was. We'll get into that. I'll also talk a
Mhm.
little bit about NFL, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the real sport.
So let me ask you this: What do you think? I know we had this little chat about Tyreek Hill.
hmm
So what's the verdict now, postseason?
Bro, nothing's changed for me, bro. Nothing, like, bro. I mean, okay, Tyreek Hill had an incredible season, but
Yeah.
I think the Chiefs got better this year.
You think so?
I think Patrick Mahomes, this is probably his best year.
Yeah, he had a hell of a year. But the thing is, I don't know, he's hurt though, right? So
Yeah, he's
if
hurt. I'm talking about just
yeah,
the regular season. Like, I mean, I think the thing with Tyreek is the same. Like, Tyreek's always going to get his yards, but he didn't have that many touchdowns as per usual. In the red zone, Tyreek Hill is not that. He's not that big of a threat. Obviously, if you're on your own 20, fair enough. Tyreek, you have to account for Tyreek Hill. But if the threat of if the deep threat is not there, then you can man up Tyreek Hill because he's not gonna he's not
yeah,
because
I know.
he's not gonna beat you over the top to get the ball like a Devontae Adams. He's not a route runner like Keenan Allen or Cooper Kupp. So it's like if the field is shorter, Tyreek Hill becomes less effective, and that shows in his numbers. Most of his yards are between the 20s.
Yeah. No, he's definitely. I think it's also a function of the kind of team you play on and
Mm-hmm.
the other weapons that they have on offense. Because if you have other weapons that they have to worry about in certain routes that they run,
Mm-hmm.
then you become more of a threat with certain plays.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So Miami being what it is, they had their issues this year with the quarterback and all
Quarterback
that stuff.
situation.
Yeah, man. So, you know, considering all of that, I think he did pretty well.
He had a good season. No. Tyreek
Yeah.
had a good season. I just still don't think he's one of the top wide receivers in the league.
Really?
Like a true number. Like he's not a Devontae Adams or a Justin Jefferson or a Jamar. You could put him on an island in any situation. He's gonna beat his man straight up every single time.
Really? You don't think so?
Yeah, I think
Oh man.
no. Tyreek Hill is a weapon. He's, in my opinion,
I think
one of the most dangerous
it's
weapons.
a monster, man. I think
I think he's a weapon, but just a straight up wide receiver.
yeah.
Like, I mean, minus the speed, he doesn't have the best hands. He doesn't have the best route running. I mean, it's just that speed that makes him so terrifying and so elite. But you look at Devontae Adams, bro. Devontae Adams doesn't need to be a 4-2 guy. Devontae Adams can be a decent athlete, but Devontae Adams, you're not touching him at any time. Devontae Adams was playing with Derek Carr and a terrible offense this year, and he still had 1,400 yards and led the league in receptions. Tyreek Hill couldn't do that in a bad situation. He couldn't, in my opinion. Bro, you saw Justin Jefferson this year, 2,000 yards almost.
Yeah.
So,
Savage.
like, I think there's levels to the wide receiver tier.
Yeah, there are levels to it. There've always been levels to it. But let me ask you this: who do you have? Philly or Philly or 49ers?
I'm going 49ers, bro. I've always been a defense first guy. You know what I'm trying to
say? I'm a defense guy too, but
then again, you look at Philly, and Philly just have a crazy defense. Like,
I'm telling you, man, Philly.
No, I think Philly. People look at AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts. I mean, sorry, not Jalen Hurts. Sorry, Jalen Hurts, Dallas Goedert. You look at that team and you think, okay, wow, they got weapons, but bro, that defense is scary. You got James Bradbury and Darius Slay, Marcus Epps. They got CJ Gardner Johnson that they just traded for from the Saints. They got that incredible D line. Like they're incredible too. So, but you know what I think is gonna win it for them? Do you know what I think it's gonna be? I think Mike Shanahan is going to be the difference in the game.
Really?
Yeah, the play calling of Mike Shanahan is going to be what does it for them.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game.
The teams are evenly balanced.
Yeah, they're evenly balanced. It's going to come down these sort of games. It comes down to which players are going to show up to make the big plays when it counts. Yeah, that's all it comes down to.
And also coaching and preparation.
Yeah, the coaching and the game planning and the X and O's are going to play a big part as well, because you have to be able to understand what the opponent is doing, and they'll create certain scenarios to put their players in the best position so they could be successful, right? But end of the day, it's going to come down to those guys between the lines. You know what I mean? Like, who's going to come out more aggressive and punch the other team in the mouth? Which defense is going to come out hitting the hardest from the start of the game?
Yeah.
Set the tone, right? That's the way this game is going to play. And it's going to, these two teams are so evenly matched.
See, that's what I don't agree with. I don't think they're even.
You think Niners are much better?
Bro, you look at the Niners, you got Christian McCaffrey, you got George Kittle, you got Deebo Samuel, you've got Brandon Ayuk. That is insane, bro. That is insane.
Listen,
if you compare that to the weapons, like the running backs, it's not close. The tight ends, it's not close. The wide receivers can get close, but then you still got Deebo Samuel, who's not just your traditional wide receiver. He can do all that Tyreek Hill stuff. He can catch out the back, bro. I think the weapons are.
But you have to realize the thing is, it comes down to matchups.
Yeah, that's exactly what comes. You're right.
It comes down to matchups. So and that's all these guys are great. They're fantastic. Yeah, they do.
That's what I'm saying. But those matchups favor the 49ers because who are you going to? Because okay, when you're playing against the Eagles, if you take AJ Brown out of the game, you have a higher chance of winning that game, right? But on this side, you got Christian McCaffrey that can get 200 yards from scrimmage any game. You got Deebo Samuel that can get 150 yards. You got George Kittle. Like, who do you focus on? That's what I'm saying. There's more matchups that favor the 49ers than the Eagles. The Eagles need to play a perfect game to win this game. The 49ers don't necessarily need to do that because they have more players that can change the game in one stroke.
Interesting. Well, you know what? I'm going to be chatting with you on that day.
No,
I'm probably going to watch the game with Farrah. I'm going to reach out to him so I can watch the game. But I'm going to be chatting with you on that day to see.
Don't get it twisted, right? I'm not saying there's a massive gulf in like, I mean, the Eagles could easily win this game. Like, they're the number one seed for a reason. They've lost 2 games this year for a reason. Like, they're a good team, right? Yeah. But I just think the amount of talent that these guys have, like, okay, this wouldn't be a conversation if these guys had a proven quarterback. You know what I'm trying to say? If the 49ers had a proven quarterback, this wouldn't be a conversation. Yeah. It's just that Jalen Hurts has played at MVP level. Brock Purdy's just come in now, etc., etc. I think that's what it comes down to.
And that's a big position.
Yeah, it is a big position. And that's why it becomes a conversation. But if you take the quarterbacks out and you just look at these teams, bro, 49ers are it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's going to be fun, man. And I tell you what, that's one of the things I appreciate about you the most, how you cover the NFL and the passion you have for covering it. Were you at the games that came to England this year?
Yeah, I went to 2 of them. I went to both of them, but one of them was the Broncos, and you couldn't pay me enough to go watch the Broncos play. I ain't trying to see Russell Wilson and all of that. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. What were the games held? Where in London? What stadium?
Tottenham Stadium. 2 of them are at Tottenham Stadium, and 2 of them are
That's a nice stadium, though, right? It's brand new, right?
Nice stadium, but what a lot of people don't know is that's an NFL stadium first before it's a football pitch. The NFL owned part of that stadium. Yeah, the NFL put money into building that stadium because when the football pitch goes apart, it's an NFL stadium first. Like there's an NFL logo. Yeah, it's an NFL. Like on top, the football pitch is like it goes on top of it like this, but the main stadium, the main turf is NFL turf.
How does that work though? The owner of the Spurs is Daniel Levy, right?
Yeah.
How does that?
They needed help and investment. The NFL were like, you know what? We're increasing the number of games we play there. Every year we're gonna play 2 or 3 games there. We'll invest in this, and we're gonna make it compatible for the NFL as well. So
wow,
that's how.
I heard it's a really nice.
The NFL invested a lot of money into that.
Yeah, I heard it's a really nice stadium. And you know, I was in London. I was in London for 3 weeks. Into the new year. So, and I was in North London.
That's where I live. I live in North London.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. But Tottenham Stadium's what, like a 5-minute drive that way, and then Arsenal's a few minutes that way. So
yeah. So I was around a lot of Arsenal and Spurs fans. Spurs fans.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law took me to Stamford Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
I went to see the Man City game. I mean, we
Man
lost.
City versus Chelsea.
Yeah. It was
okay. What was the score in that game?
It was 1-0.
Yeah. A second half goal, wasn't it?
It was the second half goal with Riyad Mahrez.
Riyad Mahrez, that's the one.
Mahrez, yeah. It was a cross-in from, what's this English kid's name that played with Villa? He crossed the ball in and then
Jack Grealish.
Grealish crossed the ball in. It was interesting watching. I tell you what, and I've said this to everyone I've talked to, is that I was impressed with watching watching De Bruyne play live. I mean, so the thing is, when you watch De Bruyne play live, you realize something phenomenal about him in the sense that he's not your best athlete, not by a mile. He's not fast. Physically, he's not going to dominate anyone. He conserves his energy so well in the game. Like, I can't count the amount of times I saw him just walking on the pitch. Walking, not, when the ball is not near him or away from him, walking. But when Bernardo Silva gets the ball,
he's gone.
Oh, I swear to you, his lights turn on and he makes specific runs. And they look for him. It's insane how watching City play, and then same thing when he gets the ball, you watch that Norwegian kid make certain runs, and he's looking for that opening. So it was I'll literally see De Bruyne walk, jog, and then take off. And then, Bernardo Silva is looking to give him a pass into a spot or Gundogan. I mean, it was watching City play. I mean, they're such a well-oiled machine, and it hurts me to say this because I'm a Chelsea fan, but they're such a well-oiled machine that I actually thought Chelsea did well defensively to hold them the entire game. They did. It was 0-0 at the end of first half. I thought, and if we had any kind of offensive threat, we could have scored. So I thought we did well. It was just, you were watching a team that know exactly what they wanted to do.
The thing with Kevin De Bruyne is I lost so much respect for Kevin De Bruyne after the World Cup, bro. Because I used to be a massive Kevin De Bruyne. I was like, yeah, this guy's the best midfielder in the world. But then to see how little he wanted to play at that World Cup, like because I went to like two of their games, two of Belgium's games.
Belgium's games.
To the Morocco game, and I went to the Canada game, right? And I'm watching this guy, and I'm like, this guy really doesn't want it. Like, he's getting the ball, he's so passive, he's giving the ball, like, you could see he didn't want it. And I was like, yo, this is the World Cup, right? Imagine being a Belgian fan that traveled to come see their country, the golden generation, the golden era, and you're putting up performances like that. It was quite disgraceful to see. I mean, me, I'm going there to watch it as a neutral, as I'm trying to see the game, trying to enjoy the game. But it was just like, I mean, but what's Kevin De Bruyne doing? Like, he didn't want it. He didn't want it at all.
Well, they're not the golden generation anymore, though.
Not anymore, yeah. No, bro. Kevin De Bruyne is incredible, bro. I mean, everything Man City does goes through him. He's the one that keeps it ticking. He's the one that creates every single chance. Now that they've got Haaland, that's always going to be making runs for him as well. It's going to be. I mean, stopping them is going to be difficult. Obviously, Arsenal are the ones top of the league. I still think Man City do win that league, but it's Man City's. I mean, wow.
I mean, there's such a well-oiled machine. And in that game, second half starts, he brings in Grealish, brings in Riyad Mahrez. Two different type of savages, right? But he keeps De Bruyne on the field, right? So those two guys come in and they just bring in a totally different dimension to the game. There's more pace, more of a threat on the wings. Yeah. And eventually they end up getting that goal. But it was interesting just watching him. It was interesting being at Stamford Bridge, which was my first time there going to watch a game live, and watching his movement off the ball. When the ball wasn't with him, I mean, his energy management is so efficient in the game. Like, he doesn't expel a lot of energy, wasted energy. Like, if you watch Chelsea players. And the guy I thought that really impressed me in the game for Chelsea was Kovacic, right? If you watch, he would take the ball, but Kovacic expends a lot of energy. But he plays a different role, right? He's either running.
He's a carrier. He's a ball carrier.
Yeah, he's a ball carrier. And that's the thing. Like, you watch a lot of these guys, especially the Chelsea players in that game. Christian Pulisic will get the ball and he'll try to run 40, 50 yards. Instead of trying to look for that perfect pass to break out a certain player. That's what De Bruyne would do, right? But De Bruyne not going to try you'll see him every now and then maybe try to burst a 25-yard sprint, but
it's rare.
Yeah, it's rare. But our guys, they try to show a lot of pace all the time, and they tire out. And it's not surprising now. I mean, we have like maybe 10 players injured. But compared to a City, it's almost stacked. So it was interesting watching that game, how one team was just more efficient, and they just had a much more well-oiled machine.
Yeah, but obviously people forget like City are like 6 years into their project now. You know what I'm trying to say? Like the City are basically in a rebuild now.
Yeah.
So it's a well-oiled machine. Obviously, I think Chelsea will get there at some point. I don't know if Potter is the guy to get them there, but they've got the players for it now. Definitely, like, they've got so many young, talented players that can be something. You know, you've got Nkuku and you've got Mudryk and you've got Chukwuemeka, Benoit. The centre back Reece James, obviously, like there's a lot of top talent.
There's a lot of young guys coming through, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so it's just a matter of like putting them together. You know what I'm trying to say?
You need a good manager. You're right, just to come in and
Graham Potter could be that manager, but I don't know.
I'm not a fan.
I can see that.
I tell you one thing I did notice though, the turf in Stamford Bridge was so shitty, man. The grass.
Okay.
I was disappointed. I thought because I was closer, so I could see the grass. I was like, this isn't like lush grass.
Have you been to the Emirates?
No, I've never been to Emirates.
Their grass is incredible.
Really?
Oh, incredible.
I was disappointed. I was looking at the grass. I was like, I could see sand in certain areas. I was like, what the hell? I thought it'd be giving, all the money pumped into that club. It just shows how, I guess, I don't know if it's the weather.
I mean, you came at a time when the weather is horrible though. Like it's hard to maintain that. It's hard to maintain it.
Yeah.
I mean, all Premier League teams have like very, very incredible turf. I'm trying to say that goes without saying. But obviously you came at a time where it was snowing the week before you got there. It was raining. It was horrible time. So
that's it did rain a lot though. It rained a lot.
Yeah.
It rained almost every day.
So
yeah, you're right though. I think when I was looking at it, and the person I went with said it too, like, yeah, it's the time of the year. If you come at the beginning of the season, the grass is just perfect.
It is perfect. Yeah, no, I could take that for free. I'll take that for free. So
it was interesting. So let's talk about Qatar a little bit. I mean, what was your experience like overall being there? Out of stadium. Let's start with out of stadium. Like, and there's some things that I kind of want to ask you questions about. What was that like?
Bro, I can't. The only word I can use to describe how Qatar hosted this World Cup is just perfection. Like they didn't leave any stone unturned. Everything was taken care of, from healthcare, like free healthcare for all travelers.
No way.
Free healthcare for all travelers. I went to the hospital I stayed for a few nights because I was severely dehydrated. It was completely free for me. Another one was free public transport for everyone.
No way.
You can go to a lot of restaurants and you get free food, for example. Like they've got buy one get one free offer. So me and you would go to a restaurant, I would pay, you'd get your meal for free, for example. Like everything was taken care of. And then you have the normal hospitality that you come outside stadiums and everyone's giving dates, and you got locals that are giving tea and coffee and stuff like that. So it was like, from a hospitality point of view, it was perfect. Obviously, from a football point of view, everyone saw the football that was played. It was an incredible World Cup.
It was an incredible World Cup. It was a very good World Cup.
One of the best, if not the best, the best World Cup.
Yes.
I mean, while you were there, like for example, there was zero crime at this World Cup. Like obviously the no alcohol thing was a big deal, but for the first time ever, no British fan was ever arrested at a World Cup. So it worked out, and also, not a single woman complained about harassment or assault or anything like that for the first time ever. Not even catcalling. Like women, no one even complained about being catcalled, for example. Like it was the perfect World Cup. And the reason that this is different and will never ever happen again is because all the stadiums were within 15 minutes of each other. So you can go to 3-4 games in a row, right? Because everything's in the same city. All the stadiums are in Doha. Doha is not the biggest of cities, so you could go to all 4 games in the same day if you wanted to, because you can access it. And if you were going to another game, there's also free shuttle buses that take you from stadium to stadium. So it's come out, you get on your bus, it takes you to the next stadium straight. So everything was taken care of.
Whoa, Mo, you're making me feel bad for not going.
No, I promise you, I tell this to everyone. I feel like everyone that's a football fan or a sports fan, this is an opportunity missed, because it will never happen again. It will never happen again where one city will be able to host an entire World Cup. They built 8 new stadiums from scratch. the tickets to games weren't too expensive. You know, it was amazing, man. It was amazing. It was perfect.
Man, I do feel like I missed out.
Everyone did.
Well, so did you go to multiple games in a day, or did you just randomly pick a game and say, okay, today I'm going to watch Belgium?
Before I went, I had about 10 games booked. But then while you're there, so many tickets come on sale. Like every day, there was a FIFA resale platform, which was amazing. So if I want to get rid of a ticket, I don't need to do it on Ticketmaster or anything like that. I can just put my ticket back onto the FIFA website, and FIFA will sell it for me, and I get my money back straight away.
Nice.
So if anyone had tickets from before and couldn't go, but 10 minutes before the game, you just put your ticket on resale. Someone like me would buy it.
I see.
And you're not paying ridiculous resale prices for it. You're paying what it cost initially.
Yeah.
Like a 5% increase.
Which is smart though, because that way they kind of control the black market.
Exactly.
Yeah. By giving people the platform to resell the ticket, it takes out all the people that might just stand on the corner somewhere and say, "Hey, come buy a ticket."
Exactly.
Wow, that's pretty cool, man. I mean, so it was a great experience. Did you went with multiple people, or
I went by myself?
You went by yourself?
Yeah, I was by myself, man.
Wow.
I was lucky because I have a few friends that live there, so I stayed with some friends while I was there, so I didn't have to pay for accommodation, because accommodation was the most expensive thing. Accommodation was ridiculously expensive.
But, hotels, right?
Hotels, Airbnbs, apartments, everything was just really, really expensive.
Like that.
But other than that, tickets were cheap. You can get a match ticket for like $80.
Because everything was in Doha, right?
Everything was in Doha.
So, and Doha is not very big.
It's not big at all.
Yeah, so you can imagine trying to find accommodation and everything.
Yeah, it's very. I mean, a lot of people some people were staying in Dubai and flying in because it was a cheaper option than actually staying in Doha.
That's amazing, man. I didn't know any of that. See, most of these things that you just highlighted aren't fully talked about.
Nah, they won't. They will never talk about it.
In general media, like I didn't know, for instance, like how they provided hospitality outside the stadium for people that were in there. You just mentioned dates and teas.
But that wasn't from Qatar though. That's just the local
people. That's what I'm saying.
Because obviously the stadiums, because Doha's so small, someone lives right next to the stadiums. So people will be outside. They'll have dates. They'll have suites. They'll have. I'm trying to say.
But Mo, that's a fantastic thing though. Yeah. Think about this, right? Think about it in England. There's a World Cup being held in London, and the UK fans provide hospitality for free for people in the stadium.
Oh, like as in like outside the stadiums and stuff, there's free water for everyone, like free water bottles that you have to buy.
That's what I'm saying.
Like in the next World Cup, if you're trying to buy a bottle of water, you're paying $8, bro.
No question. That's North America. That I could tell you for free that's 100% going to happen.
Yeah,
you're not going to see,
bro. You can ask me the amount of times I paid for water the whole time I was there. Like there's free bottles of water just everywhere for you. They took care of everything, bro. Everything was taken care of, and you had free mobile data for the first 3 days you were there. Just like from the minute you walk in, you get a free SIM card that has data for the first 3 days, just so you can get around and find yourself around for the first 3 days for absolutely free, like free unlimited internet for 3 days and calls and text and stuff like that. And if you want to use it, you just top it up.
You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like most of these things, I'm someone that follows the World Cup. Like I'm not someone that just goes, okay. Like I actually pay attention to every single thing going on there. Yeah. And all this stuff you're talking about is news.
No, but this thing, and I think that's why Qatar didn't care about the bad public perception of the media, because they know that when people go there, the stories that they'll tell about it will be enough. They knew that they took care of everything, and they did. It was the perfect World Cup. Anything you asked me, I could tell you they had, and it was provided. Anything.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing, man. And that's what I'm saying. Like, so let's talk about the other things, right? The things we did hear about. Okay. Especially the social side. So we saw like all these teams that were wearing bands that refused to do certain things.
Bro, the craziest thing is, bro, all Qatar said was don't do anything in public. Like the thing that people don't realize in Doha is even straight marriages or straight relationships in public are frowned upon. Like holding hands, kissing, hugging and stuff in public, straight or gay, is is frowned upon. It's not legal. So I don't know why they were trying to make a big deal about that one group of people when it's frowned upon regardless. You know, it wasn't discrimination because this is just how the custom. It's
their culture.
It's their culture. It's their religion.
Yeah.
So,
and you know what's interesting is, so I was in December I was in London. In November I went to Nigeria because I had there's this soccer camp I do.
I know. You told me. I really wanted to. I told you I wanted to.
Yeah, you know what? You could come to the next one.
Yes, please.
I'm gonna let you know. Matter of fact, I'll send you some of the videos. We have tons of content, like videos and pictures.
Yeah, send me the content. I'm gonna try to write articles about them as well, and I'll definitely.
I'll send you some stuff. It's really it's good. And the Danish partners I have, there are more people in Denmark interested in also coming to Nigeria to do this.
The idea. Let me ask you about your camp. So your camp is basically to discover the best talent in Nigeria and have the Danish scouts basically watch them at that weekend or that week and scout them to obviously come to Europe.
Yeah, so that's a byproduct, right?
Okay.
And the reason why I made that initially when I started, I was like, okay, we could do what you just said. But then I thought about it and said, okay, there is a possibility that a Danish coach could come to Nigeria and maybe out of 50 players, he might say, okay, I have a capacity to take 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Right? So you didn't want to make that a central point. So that way you don't have 48 or 49 players out of 50 disappointed that things do.
Okay. Yeah.
So yes, they're always looking for talent, right? You know this. Teams are always looking for talent. So the focus is, I'm going to focus on development, you know, on building leadership qualities and education, right? Using football as a platform. Yes, if they see talent, they will go. And yes, they are looking for talent. But the central point of it is to really
build these young kids.
Correct. And also build football capacity, leadership capacity, education. That's the focus. And so we go in there with that focus. Yeah. At the end of the day, my guy is a coach. He's a UEFA Pro coach that goes there. So if he sees a guy that's like, hey, listen, I think this player has quality, he's going to go. And he will go to Denmark and try to facilitate so that player could go. Right. So it's twofold. But I think the point that you made will become more available because I have more coaches in Denmark now. Staying there. Yeah. So it increases
the likelihood,
the nets, if you will. Correct. So you know, so, and this is the 3rd edition that I've done. So it's growing, and I think the next edition is going to actually be bigger in terms of the actual scout.
When are you trying to do the next one?
They're having elections in Nigeria, so that we'll find out who the next president is in February. So after that, we're looking at probably, it might be this November as well. November is a good period. Okay.
Because the weather's not too bad as well.
The rainy season is over.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this obviously because this was so close to the World Cup, it was a bit. But the next one definitely, like
November
something. And we could even facilitate like like my cousin has his own production company, for example. We can actually make it a proper. We can actually, if it can be facilitated, we can definitely do this, bro.
We'll talk offline, man. Because you know the thing is, and I'm probably gonna be in London again before the end of the year, so I'll definitely chat with you some more. I know,
definitely.
Yeah, I know for certain I'm going to Denmark in a few months because I have to meet some people. But yeah, we'll 100%. And I'll send you all the videos and stuff. You see
on this topic, man. Let's talk about African football right now, man.
But the point I wanted to make was we were talking about Qatar and the social issues. And when I was in Nigeria, I was actually talking to some people and we were debating this stuff. And the thing is, one of the guys that was like, yeah, but how you gonna have a World Cup? You know, but people can't drink. It doesn't make any sense, and this and that. It's not going to be fun, and you know, Budweiser and all these companies are going to lose a lot of money. And my point to him was, well, it's not like FIFA didn't know that this was the lifestyle of the Qataris before the World Cup. This isn't news. 3 years ago, if you told me you were going to Qatar, I'd have told you, hey, these are the rules. Yeah, these are the rules there. This is the lifestyle. Just be on your P's and Q's. Like this is it's not your country. This is how they live, you know, and you have to go there and respect it. So I don't understand. I couldn't understand for me what the whole
you know what the
was
craziest
about.
thing is? You know the whole LGBT thing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, in Russia 4 years ago, it was the same thing. Like Russia also has those same rules where that stuff is forbidden.
No, really.
You didn't hear any of that stuff because
does Russia actually
Russia
have
doesn't
laws?
allow that stuff either. Russia
Really?
doesn't allow that stuff either. Yeah, it's illegal in Russia the same way it's illegal in Qatar. But obviously, it was very, very minimal. The noise was minimal because obviously it's another Russian country. But obviously, I mean, I'll be honest. This World Cup showed me how biased the Western media is with regards to Muslim countries, Arab countries, because nothing was like, bro, things that I can, like things that I'm there, like I'm there with my own eyes. I'm going on Sky Sports and I'm hearing a completely different story, like, which is a lie. I'll give you one example. On the first day, the opening ceremony, obviously there's the FIFA fan festival, the official fan festival, right? But the rules with the fan festival is only people with a hire card. So hire cards are people that have match tickets, people that are coming from abroad, etc., can get in. This message wasn't delivered loud and clear. So obviously large queues formed. Like there's obviously, because people that weren't supposed to be there are there. So obviously there's lines, people are getting rejected. And obviously you're going to ask, why can't I get in, etc. So I'm there. I can see this. I understand what's going on. So obviously, because they didn't prepare for it, more police came or more security came just to kind of like ease the tensions and like kind of disperse the crowds and say, yo, only for people with these cards can come in. Obviously, they have their police horses, etc. That's normal. Even outside every stadium, there's police horses.
Yeah.
The next morning, I'm on Twitter. I'm saying troubles at the FIFA Fan Festival on the opening ceremony. I'm like, I was there. What do you mean? They're lying about literally anything. Like they'll go to an accommodation. One person will have an issue with the accommodation, or the water won't run in that person's accommodation. Or Qatar puts tourists in tents with no water. Would be the article. Like these are like, and this is things that were going on throughout the tournament, throughout the month. So I'm glad that I was there to actually witness it for myself and know what was what.
Let me ask you this though. So, you know, you're a sports journalist, right? So how does that roll with you when you see your narrative based on what you're looking at as the truth doesn't fit? Because what you're saying, right? It wasn't just Sky Sports.
Oh, it was every Western media.
It was if
one example.
Exactly. If you watch mainstream media, sports media, that was the narrative. It was oppressive. It was restrictive. You know, teams were protesting. Right. That was what you saw. Right. When you have to put out stuff and you see all of that, how does that? I mean, how do you feel about that? Right.
I mean, for me, because I'm a Muslim and I'm there, it's just a bit hurtful because like Qatar put so much into this. They spent more money on their World Cup than the previous 4 combined in terms of money, right? They built an entire transport system. They've built infrastructure. They've essentially with this World Cup, they've built their entire country, right? And just to see people who, just because they don't like it and just because they don't like some of the customs of Qatar, are pushing these narratives, it's kind of upsetting, you know? That's how you feel ultimately. But then thankfully, if someone like me who has a platform, I can kind of push back at that and kind of say, yo, this isn't true. This is what I'm saying, and this is what I'm seeing while I'm here.
Yeah, it was yeah, when I debated that, I just used I approach it from a common sense perspective of this whole hoopla about alcohol. I'm not sure exactly what you want these people to do. I mean, do you want them to totally change their national laws
for 30 days? And this isn't national laws, by the way. Obviously, you know so many Muslims. You know what I'm trying to say? Everyone, like all your friends, everyone you chill. You know what I'm trying to say? You're not gonna put your religion to the side for 30 days to
please. 30 days, correct.
You're not gonna. You can't just say, you know what, yo, God, hold up, we're doing something right now. Just wait up, we're gonna do this. You know what I'm trying to say? It doesn't work like that. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like you're coming to, and the idea of hosting the World Cup in so many different places is to embrace other people's culture, to visit a new place, to see a new place. You don't go somewhere and tell them how to behave for 30 days. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, no, and one thing that, at least in North America, the one thing you see is they give you exemptions for religious reasons. You see what I'm saying? Like if, for instance, during the whole thing of the COVID vaccine, there were certain people that said, I can't take the vaccine because of religious reasons, and they had to prove, and those people were given a pass. So if it's okay in that instance, why wouldn't it be okay that this is the understood, well-known rule as it pertains to Islam, and you're going to a Muslim country and you feel that it's going to change? I don't get it. Like it just doesn't.
Can I say something? You know, most of the people that were there, that were from the UK and from the States, they had no problem with it. Like, people didn't have a problem not drinking alcohol for a month. They were okay with it. You know, like stadiums, no alcohol. Like most people that were actually there had no problem with it, because there were so many other things that Qatar did to substitute with that. You know what I'm trying to say, in terms of like events and this and that, to substitute. So you didn't even need to drink. There was no need to drink. So yeah.
It's interesting, and that's why I wanted to get your perspective, because I know, one, you're a sports head. You know, clearly you understand football. Soccer football, not football. You know, and you were there, and I know you were there, and I know you were interacting, and you're on the ground, and so I wanted to get your perspective on everything. And yeah, no, I appreciate that. That's really insightful. So speaking about the game, obviously Morocco, you know, I'll be damned. Like,
bro, not just Morocco, bro. You know, obviously, you know, I cover African football in it. That's
100%.
It was an impressive year for Africa as a whole.
You think so?
Bro, this World Cup was very, very impressive. Because if you go back 4 years, not a single team even qualified from the group stages. An African team, not a single one. Morocco didn't qualify. Ghana, and no one qualified from the group stages last year. This year, for the first time ever, on the last match day, all 5 teams still had a chance to qualify. Cameroon did their job. They beat Brazil in the last game. Beat
Brazil, man.
Tunisia did their job. Tunisia beat France in the last game. Both of those teams, if results elsewhere went their way, would have qualified.
That's a good point.
Right? Ghana got 4 points. Usually 4 points gets you through. Usually 4
Ghana,
points.
yeah, but Ghana dropped the ball against Uruguay.
No, 100%. That's why I didn't even mention Ghana. But the point is, if Ghana had got a draw, Ghana would have gone through as well.
Yes.
Ghana just needed a draw.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So everyone did their job. It's just results elsewhere didn't go their way.
Yeah.
You know? Like if Denmark had got a result against Australia, Tunisia would have qualified. If Serbia got a result against Switzerland, Cameroon would have qualified. Yeah. If Ghana got a draw, Ghana would have qualified. Obviously, Senegal and Morocco already did qualify. You know?
Yes.
So it was, and also, I don't know if you know this, but this is the most points Africa has ever got in the group stages of the World Cup. 24 points between the 5 teams. Never really? The previous record. They smashed the previous record. Smashed the previous record, yeah, by like 9 points.
Wow.
So it was an impressive year for Africa, and you saw what Senegal did without Sadio Mane. Obviously, in the England game, they were missing a lot of players, like the entire midfield. No Idrissa Gana Gueye, no Czech Kouyaté. Obviously, no, and when you're playing against a team like England, missing these type of players, you can't overcome that. Yeah, Senegal dominated Holland in the first game of that tournament.
Yes. I keep telling people, like, I was funny, in that game I actually watched when I was in Nigeria because it was on during that time. And I was saying, I was like, look, the goal from Gakpo, what's his name, from
it was Holland. It was 2 mistakes from Mendy. It was 2 goals. Mendy didn't commit to the first one, and the second one was Mendy giving it right in front of the striker.
Correct.
I mean, like they dominate. They played Holland off the park.
I think
the Ecuador game could have easily been 5 or 6 to Senegal. They destroyed them. Right? Even the England game, the first 30 minutes before England got their goals, Senegal were a better team, bro. The first chance of the game, if Ismail Assar finishes that chance in the first 5 minutes of the game, bro, it's a completely different game.
Completely different game. Yes, and that's where.
And this is without Sadio Mane. This is without 4 of their most experienced players, bro. People are talking about Sadio Mane. You know, Bouna Sarr that plays for Bayern Munich, their right back. He didn't play as well. Like these are 4 or 5 starters weren't playing, and Senegal did the way they played the way they did. And for the 100%. First 20, 30 minutes of that game, bro, you're like, yo, Senegal are actually the better team right now.
Yes, they were. And if they had Mane, I promise you. First of all, they don't lose that Holland game.
No. If they have Mane, they finish first in their group. They play USA, and then you don't know what happens after that.
Correct.
They play USA in the what's it called in the round of 16, and then after that, you don't know what happens after that.
Yeah,
you know,
it becomes a roll of the dice like Morocco.
It becomes a roll when you get to a quarterfinal because you can see that. You saw what happened with Morocco.
Yeah, no, Senegal, and that's what I kept. Some people like, they lost the ball. I'm like, no, listen, did you watch that game?
Oh, Senegal.
If you actually sat down and watched that game, you would realize the only thing they were missing was a finisher.
Not even a finisher, bro. Like a decisiveness in the final third, whether it's a pass or a finish or something on the counter attack, because they had these fast young players. You have Ndiaye on one side, you have Ismail Assar, you have Bouna Sarr, you have and Boulaye Dia. You have these really good, athletic, talented guys. You just need that final key moment in the final. You know what I'm trying to say? And that would have been it.
Yeah. And I tell you what, the thing was, Morocco and Tunisia. I had to eat my words on them because my criticism of North African teams was, they always go to the World Cup and they just totally roll over.
No, Tunisia, I was wrong about because I didn't think Tunisia would stood a chance.
Yeah.
Morocco, however, I said Morocco are dark horse.
Yeah.
I wrote an article before the World Cup saying, Morocco are a real dark horse. Because you look at their qualification was so impressive. It was the best qualification ever in African history, right? They won 6 out of 6. They scored 22 goals, conceded 1 goal in the entire run. The African Cup of Nations, they were incredible. They were unlucky to lose to Egypt. They shouldn't have lost that game, right? And then that was without Ziyech, without Mazraoui, 2 incredible players that were 2 of their best players at this World Cup, right?
Yes.
And they got their new coach. They brought Ziyech back. They brought Mazraoui back. And you could see, like, this team can go toe-to-toe and step with anyone. Bro, tell me that Morocco weren't the better team against France in the semi-final. Morocco were the better team. Morocco were the better team.
Yeah.
But obviously, when you got Mbappe, that clinicalness is just out of this world, you know?
Yeah.
But
that was the difference right there, Mbappe. Really, if you think about it.
But this year was the year that Africans announced themselves to the world. Obviously, next World Cup, got 10 teams in the African Cup of Nations in the World Cup. We've got 10 teams. So can you imagine these teams plus Nigeria, plus Ivory Coast, plus Egypt, plus Burkina Faso,
which is an interesting concept. I don't know. Has CAF announced the new qualifying series? How would that work though?
They haven't announced the CAF hasn't announced the procedure, but they've announced. But we've got 10 teams. That's a fact. We've got 10 teams. I don't know. It will be interesting. I hope what they don't do is they don't do regional.
That's what I hope they don't do.
Like, you know how they do for the
yes.
Nations, for example. I hope they don't do regional, because then you're going to get a team like Somalia and Ethiopia at the World Cup, but then a team like Algeria
or Ghana might not make it.
Exactly. So I hope they don't do regional.
Yeah, I definitely
hope they do the way they do in Europe, where they have the seed A team, and then they play like stuff like that. Do you know what I'm trying to say? That's what I hope they do. But regional,
I think that's what they do.
I mean, as a Somali, I don't mind regional because I know Eritrea, Ethiopia, give me a chance of going to the World Cup, but then getting destroyed at the World Cup at the same time. But
how would they even break up the regions?
No. They have their regions. Like, for example, the under-17s, it would just be those same regions. It would be like the East,
West
Africa, Northwest Africa, Central Africa. So, like, like Sakafa. That kind of stuff. So it's already broken up into regions, and that's how they do certain qualifications and stuff like that.
10 teams, my goodness.
So you can imagine like Nigeria, Algeria, Ivory Coast, with Senegal, with Morocco, with Ghana.
Yeah, it increases the chances overall
of African team doing well.
Yeah, it does significantly.
Because imagine instead of having 1 or 2 teams in the round of 16, you have 4 teams, 5 teams in the round of 16. You get 2 or 3 teams in the quarterfinals. Bro, you're going to have a semi-finalist every single year. There's a reason there's a European semi-finalist every single year, because you've got 16 teams in the World Cup.
16 teams, yeah. When you increase the odds, the chances are you'll have more teams become successful.
So now we have the second most number of teams in the World Cup. If 5 of them qualify from the group stage, which I expect they do, because African football is getting incredible. Like, I never expect Senegal not to qualify from a World Cup group stage. I never expect Morocco, teams like that. I class them as high as I class teams like England, and maybe not France and Brazil and Argentina, because they're just the elite of the elite. We're not there yet. Yeah. But teams like England, Holland, for example, bro, we should be able to go toe-to-toe with them regularly. And I think this World Cup showed that.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch the game where Cameroon beat Brazil, right? Brazil dominated that game, right? If you watch it. But Cameroon managed the game well. Defensively, they were responsible. They didn't give Brazil too many chances. And when they got an opportunity, they took it.
Yeah.
And they beat them.
But do you know where this comes from, though? It comes from the fact that now African players are playing at the highest level, highest possible level. Like if you're Zambo Anguissa that plays for Cameroon,
Napoli, I love that kid, man.
If you're Zambo Anguissa playing, you've just outplayed Thiago Alcantara for Liverpool in the Champions League. You're not going to be worried about the World Cup. This is not too big of a stage for you because you've proved yourself now. You're not playing in Ligue 1. You're not playing in the Bundesliga. You're playing in the highest possible leagues in the world. You're Sadio Mane. You've won everything. You're not going to look at Lionel Messi like he's your superior. You know what I'm trying to say? You're not going to be in awe of these guys, and that's the difference in African football now. You know, if you're Ashraf Hakimi, you're playing with Mbappe. You're playing with Messi. You're not looking at these guys, and that was the difference. Like for example, people look at the golden generation of Ivory Coast in 2010. You have Didier Drogba. You have Yaya Toure. But you still have guys that are playing for Aston Villa that are going to go to Brazil and think, oh my God, what am I doing here? But you look at Senegal, for example, you got 7-8 players that are playing Champions League football. You got Morocco who are playing, like, you look all over the African teams now. You've got 2 or 3 players that are playing at the highest possible level. And that's what's gonna increase the level of your team. So now instead of being in awe of Neymar and Messi, you've got Zambo Anguissa who's doing it. So your team you're training with this guy. So now your level increases as well. And that's why African football is going through the roof now. The African Cup of Nations is an incredible tournament because you've got 6 or 7 teams that are Champions League caliber teams. The best of the best. You look at Algeria, you got Benacer, AC Milan just won the thing. You got Riyad Mahrez, you got all of these guys. Senegal, we don't need to speak about Senegal. Morocco, we don't need to speak about Morocco. Nigeria, bro, I know you're excited right now.
Yeah, I am.
The top 2 scorers in Serie A are both from your country. You know that.
Yeah. I saw the game this weekend with Osimhen, and look, when I was at Stamford Bridge, I was telling anyone who would listen that we are insane if we don't sign Victor Osimhen.
No, I think Man United will sign Victor Osimhen and they're going to be the best team for the next 6 years. I think Man United will sign.
You think United get him?
I think United are the best.
But Rashford is playing out of his pants right now.
No, Rashford's a winger though. Rashford's a winger. We know that. Rashford's a left winger.
Yeah.
That's why they signed Weghorst, for example. You know, imagine that team with Osimhen. They'll be a generational team. Osimhen is 22 years old. The craziest thing is Osimhen's got 13 goals in 15 games. He doesn't take penalties.
Savage.
He doesn't take penalties. But Napoli have had 7 penalties this year. He would be on Haaland numbers if he was taking penalties this year. You know that, right?
God, yeah. I was watching.
And he was injured for 6 weeks.
6 weeks. I know. Savage. I was watching him. I literally have a reminder on my football TV for Napoli games.
Yeah.
Ever since I saw what they did to Liverpool, I was like, okay, I was watching, and they're such a good team. Yes, Osimhen is the leading goal scorer, but the entire team
works very, very well together.
They're such a good team to watch, and they're top in Serie A right now, aren't they?
12 points clear.
Yeah. They're going to win the league.
12 points clear.
I mean, it's amazing to watch him, but he is an unbelievable player, man.
Well, he's 24 years old. He just turned 24. He just turned 24 years old. Like, in my opinion, he's in the same bracket as Haaland. Like, if he was playing for Man City and they created those chances, he might even score more goals.
Yes.
Like, because Osimhen's work rate, the movement, Osimhen does everything so perfectly.
Yeah, he doesn't stop. Stop.
Let's go back to Nigeria really quickly.
Yeah. There's
not many front threes in the world that can say they have Lookman, Osimhen, and Chukwueze. That is one of the best front threes in the world. If you have that front three, why are you scared of anyone else? And I'm saying that's just the quality of African football now. That's the standard now. You need an Osimhen, you need a Sadio Mane, like, to be a good African team, which wasn't the case before.
Yeah, you're right. I'm excited. Listen, last African Cup of Nations was exciting to watch. The level of football, the intensity. The next one is going to be even bananas. Just watching it is highly competitive now. It's no joke. Because highly competitive.
Like because even though some of these teams like Burkina Faso and Mali, for example, they got some very, very good. They're very, very good young players. Good young players.
Yes.
Like Mali have Basuma, Haidara. They have Djenepo that plays for
Djenepo.
And then you got Burkina Faso, who's got one of my favorite players. What's it called? They got Traore.
Traore used to be Bertrand Traore.
One of my favorite players. What's it called? Issa Kabore, the right back that Man City own him, but he's currently on loan at Marseille. Bro, they've got some like African football is very fun, man.
That's something. And I love the style of African football. It's pace, its skill, its power. You see that on display. If you turn in an African Cup of Nations game, you're guaranteed.
Even now, I don't know if you've been keeping up with the Chan competition. You know
I've been seeing the results and watching highlights.
Yeah,
I know Senegal won 3-0. I think Cape Verde.
So even that, and why that competition is even more exciting and more fun is because it's players that are only in Africa.
Home base, yeah.
Home base players. So it's just so you can see the real, like, how African football really
is. Yeah. And it's look, the level of competition and I call it a conveyor belt of players that are coming through is sick.
Like right now, if I was to ask you who's the favorite for the next African Cup of Nations, you'd be silly to tell me any name. You couldn't. Are you gonna say Morocco? Are you gonna say Senegal? Are you gonna say Nigeria? Are you gonna say Algeria? Are you gonna say Ivory Coast? What can you say?
You know what's interesting? I watched Morocco go through a lot of these World Cup games, and they did very well, and I was impressed and proud of them. But I've seen them play much tougher games in Africa Cup. Yeah, I've seen that.
You can't tell me that Morocco had a harder game against Canada and Belgium.
No.
They didn't.
I've seen them play Burkina Faso. Yeah, and play a much tougher game,
100%.
Than against Canada or Belgium. 100%. It was more physical. It was more demanding on their team. They had to dig deep. Compared to those games, like watching them in the World Cup, like they're a good team, but certain things came easy. Yes.
Like the Belgium game, I was at that game. I was like, bro, these guys are cruising. Like this is Eden Hazard, Kevin De Bruyne, Courtois. These guys they're cruising.
They were cruising. That's my point, though. Like I was like, if you watch them during the AFCON, you're like, man, they play certain games and you could see they were struggling. And I think it has to do with that African physicality. When you play a certain team with pace and power, you know your guys have to work 3 times as hard. And that takes its toll on Morocco. And you could see it during AFCON. When they played Canada, I remember watching that game. I mean, the Ziyech goal was a gift. It's almost like just saying, it was his head, go ahead and score. And he just lobbed the ball all the way in. I mean, it was easy for him. And it was interesting because I kept telling my family, listen, I'm watching Morocco, and you think these guys are great. They could go to AFCON and not qualify. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They could go to AFCON and not get past the first round. So it's interesting, man. Hey, listen, bro. Thank you so much. I know we got to chat some more. I'm going to send you those pictures so you can check it out.
Bro, send me those videos. And some point this week, let's after this divisional round, let's do a preview of the NFC and AFC championship games. Oh wait, that's this week. Let's do a Super Bowl preview next week.
Oh yeah. So let's talk next week after the Super Bowl. I mean after the AFC NFC.
After the NFC AFC, yeah. All right, my bro, man.
My man, thanks.